What's going on, little fella? Why are you stuck? That's not good. You're supposed to be swimming around, not stuck in the corner. Is he stuck? I don't think so. I think he can get out, right? He can get on this lily pad. I don't know where he's trying to go. That's so strange. Huh. Might have to move him around. There was supposed to be another guy in here. I don't know where he went. Probably swam away. I don't know what's going on with this guy. Anyways, welcome back, everybody. You stay down here, sir. You're not supposed to go up there. That's for me. Wanted to take a quick stop before today's build. I'm really excited for it. But I wanted to show off the frogs. Of course, one's stuck, the other one's missing. So it's not really a great show and tell. But we can also stop by and say Charlie before we head off to the mega base area. We're going to be over there pretty much all episode. So might as well stop, say bye, and give him a good pet before we leave. Hey, big guy. What are you doing? Here's a little steak. You're so cute. Oh my gosh. Stay out of the rain. Stay warm. I'll be back later. Be a good boy. There's actually a couple more important things that I forgot to go grab. So we're going to go do that real quick. And then we'll head over to the mega base area and start building. We're going to be working on the area below the library today. Well, that's the library. That's the observatory. I consider this like all the observatory, so you might hear me mess that up a couple times today. We're going to be working on the area right below the library. Oh, the boats make everything so laggy. A couple of times now I've mentioned that I want to build some farmland right down over here. It'll be easier to see once we go around this corner, but there's this big old flat area of land in this area that kind of leads up to where the library entrance will be. There's a pretty good chunk of land that leads directly up to the library. It has like a pretty natural. Oh, these horses are gonna go crazy with all my food. There's a pretty natural like slope up to the library. So I think right down here, if we have some type of town or some type of more of a developed area down here, and I think the farmland would be pretty cool. It would fill in the space really well, at least. And I think it's actually going to make the observatory area stand out more than it already does. I mean, there's this massive building that's just shooting into the sky. It's literally in the clouds. But having like other things around it will help make this just fit into the area more. Because that's something I've been working on a lot. Well, I've been trying to work on a lot. I started mostly with that little house that we just came from. But I'm trying to complete builds rather than just plopping them down like I have here. Like there's nothing else going on besides the observatory. We got the cool bridge, got the observatory on that side with some kind of like form of platform that it's sitting on, but this is just sitting here. You can see like that is where the staircase ends right there. If we start to build up the area right down below it, I think it'll make it easier for me to figure out how to transition into more of a natural way to get up there. So to get everything started, I think right where this little horse is hanging out, this is going to be our first house of the farm area. I really like this hill. It's a pretty cool little slope that we have, and then the transition between this hill and this hill is pretty cool and pretty unique. So I think I can make a pathway or something go through here at some point. And then on the back side there is a little cliffside with a pretty steep transition right here, which we might be able to do a cool little staircase or something. Maybe like a silo or like an underground entrance or something. I think this would be the perfect little spot for our first house. I really don't think we're going to have anything that beats this view. This is going to be so good to look at all the time, especially if we're over here quite often, which I plan to be for at least a little while. This is just going to be so cool to look at all the time. This house looks like it's the same size as the observatory because of how big it is. Oh, it's just so cool. Speaking of so cool, isn't this a coolest little house that we got so far? I try to keep it pretty simple when it comes to like the shape. It's just a pretty basic L house with a big old cylinder coming out the center. But the detailing itself is pretty, I wouldn't say complex, but there's a lot of detail. It's kind of a lot to look at, but I tried to make it so that every block was placed with a purpose and everything kind of flows together in a coherent way. And you should probably go sleep before it gets too dangerous out here. Now we're going to start on the outside, but you can see that I did do an interior for the house, but we'll focus on the outside for now, and then we'll go on the inside. So my main idea for how I wanted this whole area to kind of start was I really wanted to just build a windmill. And I saw this picture on Pinterest, which I'll show here. And I really fell in love with the shape of it. I thought it was such a cool little design. And the only problem I really had with it was that it was too basic. Like if I put just a windmill here, I felt like it just wouldn't be enough. So then I decided to, it kind of looks old. It looks run down. So let's build a house around it. Let's say that it's an old windmill that somebody just renovated completely. And that's kind of what we have here. Oh no, I got too close. That's when this reference picture came into play, and I thought it'd be a really cool idea to combine the two, the windmill and the house itself. And I think I really did a good job at mixing the two together and adding my own little twist in. The main house, the base of it is this stony look to it. And in certain areas, I use darker blocks that kind of just give it some type of dripping effect, or like a water stain that's darkening the area, especially around things where there's either posts like this where water would kind of fall off this and then run down this, and especially in corners and under anything that looks like water would run off to it. And I try to keep that same theme going with the walls up here. So under the reeves, I think that's what these are called. Under the reeves, I have that same look where it's just super dark and water would run down. And the main color of the house was originally the sandstone look, and I have it darkened here and there. I'll try to get a good view of it, but I think it looks pretty good. You kind of see what I'm trying to go for. I especially tried my best to do that with the roof. So around the areas where things are jutting out, I have it darker. It's definitely different than the normal gradients that you see on houses where they just do a gradient up and down. I try to make it so that there was a purpose for the gradient, because that's just something I've been practicing a lot lately. I'm trying to make everything feel like it has a purpose. So you kind of see around the windows, I do the same thing where it's dark on around the base of it, and then it lightens on around the more exposed areas. I do the same thing on the other side here. And yeah, this is actually a pretty good view. So we have the same thing here, and then of course I like throwing in grass on the roofs. So because of that, the roof itself is made out of normal blocks, no slabs or stairs or anything, so that I could add places where I could put grass. But around the edges and on some certain support beams, I have more stairs and smooth blocks going up, and I think it works pretty well. And of course, around the house, I try to add some details here and there. So we got cool overhangs. What are these called? Oh no, I can't think of the word. What are these called? We're gonna call them overhangs for now, but I know there's a word for it. I just can't think of it. If we come up here and take a closer look, I have two of these things here. So we have this one where it's kind of the main entrance, where we want to make sure that it's covered as best we can. And then over here, we have a little wood pit, another little overhang thing, hiding our wood. We got logs, we got little buttons to show like bark and stuff, because we're cutting this log here. This is an axe. Can't you tell? And the axe is chopping the wood, so you see little bits of bark and like pieces of wood strewn about. I just really wanted to make sure that this whole area felt pretty immersive. And we got a couple cool little details around here. I saw this really cool thing where you make like a gutter system that goes into like its own water basin. Thought that was pretty cool. Adds a little bit of detail. This side's pretty blank for now. This isn't the main entrance or anything, so I felt like this was kind of like a sideways or side door. And another cool little detail I've been seeing people do, you stay away, was around the windmill itself. So if you use birch trapdoors, they have that cloth-like effect. Stay away. I hear you clopping. Don't do it. The birch trapdoors have a cloth look to them, which most windmills are made out of like some type of cloth back then, right? At least the picture did. That I was referencing. Because they're birch and they're just that white and yellow color, they're so bright. So what I've seen people do is this really cool thing where if you um, put glass panes in front of that, it gives it like a worn down look. And I think that looks really cool here. So we have, oh no, you're way too close, man. Stay away, please. So I have brown stained glass and I think that's light gray stained glass. And it just makes it look a little bit more worn down, which adds to the effect. Like if this was super bright, it just would stand out compared to everything else that kind of looks a little more dirty. This the shape of the windmill is a pretty basic shape. I try to keep it smooth, but I've seen the shape of this windmill a lot, used in a lot of windmill designs. And now it's getting dark again, so it's the perfect time to to check out the interior. So we're gonna start on the inside. We'll come out here and check out this little hut later once it's daytime. But if we walk through the front door, this is the main entranceway, and I've been trying to learn how to make interiors, from EchoCraft, the big old house that I had that was crazy complicated on the inside. This one was just a long hallway that I really didn't think was going to be too hard, but because it's just a long hallway, I struggled to figure out exactly what to put in here. For this room, I figured it was kind of just a cool little entranceway, have a couple of decorations, have a place to put your coat and your hat, and just a couple of other small little details here and there. Lots of candle usage. I wanted to keep it pretty dim in here. So we do have candles, but not all of them are lit because if it feels like it's too bright, it just takes away from the moodiness. So we have a couple lanterns up here, got some details on this side here, and I think this is a pretty cool little starter entrance. I try to keep it pretty simple, just so that it doesn't feel cluttered in here. It still kind of does, but I think this works pretty well. And we got, of course, I love rugs, so I try to include rugs as much as I can. And then over here in the kitchen, I don't think I've ever made a kitchen, so this was my first attempt. And when I was building this, I had my friend, very unwill, help me out, and we just kind of sat and started working on the interior. And he was messing around with stuff, and I thought a lot of his ideas were good. So there's a couple things in here that he's done. I actually can't remember exactly what he put in and what he didn't. So just expect that maybe it's 50-50, his work and my work. I can't remember. He's probably going to call me out. But yeah, this is the kitchen, and there's a couple of things in here that I wouldn't have done. So I know that this was Will. I never would have thought to do like some type of like drying rack for meats. I thought this was such a cool little detail. I love it. If you turn off the fire on the campfire, you can still put meat around it and it won't cook and pop off. So it's just a small little detail that I never would have thought to do. And then of course we have plenty of shelves. We have as much storage as I can fit into a small little space. And then I'm also a huge painting guy. I try to fit in paintings where I can without it feeling too cluttered. And we have so many unique ones nowadays, so that I just want to use them all the time. And then we have our stovetop. We got some cutting boards. We have a water basin, a couple of drinks, and some calamari for later. I'm actually really happy with the way that the kitchen turned out. It looks pretty good, and trying to figure out how to transition into this was troublesome. I didn't want to add like a door or anything. I probably could have done some type of door over here and blocked it off, but I like the open concept, right? That's in right now, isn't it? I think this area turned out really well, so let's head on to the next one over here. And this room, I wanted to kind of just do a shop, like this is where I do a lot of woodworking. This is where I can come and do some more hands-on kind of things. So we have a cutting station over here, got a couple of tools, have some barrels, of course, as many barrels as we can get, some storage, wherever we can fit it in is really good. And then just some books and stuff teaching me, some shop guides, more shelves. Shelving's always good in shops. Have a cutting table. This is our only crafting table in the whole house. Oh wait, no, actually, I forgot. I did end up putting one in the kitchen. That's right. So there's two crafting tables, and they're both on the first floor. Not a whole lot going on in here, though. I'm going to be honest. It's pretty simple. I don't think I could have added too much more without it just feeling overly cluttered. We got a cool little floor, I guess. It's a little more dirty because it's a shop, right? It doesn't have to be pristine. But we can head up onto the next floor, kind of get away from all those mob sounds. This is the beginnings of the windmill. So right down here, you can't really tell that we're even in a windmill. But if we come up one more floor, this is where it starts to feel like, oh, there's another section of the house that's a little different from everything else, right? And just trying to keep some small details here and there. I felt like it'd be a cool room to have as like more decoration stuff, So we have a enchanting table. This is pretty cool because it adds movement, which I really like. And then just storage galore. And then small little details. I love brewing stands for decoration. I love the cactus flower for decoration. I think it's like a cool plant that is just here. Again, I did want to keep it pretty dim in here. So we have a soul lantern and a candlestick, and everything should be spawn proof, I think. So this is like the main living quarters. This is where you kind of relax and stuff. Got a cool little entrance here, walk through here, and we have a fireplace because we did have a chimney. And I did kind of just copy what I did in EchoCraft, the EchoCraft Season 5 house, because we didn't get to really look at it more than one episode. So I think the chimney's a little different, or the fireplace is a little different, but we got the same couch because I really like this couch. We got the bookshelf, which I thought was really cool. And then, of course, we have a portrait of Charlie because we're far away from home, and I want to make sure that we never forget Charlie. We always got to think of Charlie when we're around doing stuff. And again, super small details. I do think I have ender chests on every floor. At least I try to, because that's probably the most useful thing I would say if I'm in the house. We've got a grandfather clock. Will did this. I love this. I think it's such a cool little addition. It still works. You can click the bell and it'll ring. I wish it like actually rang at certain times. I wish there was a way to do that. Got a cool little desk over here. I think Will did this as well. Got a little lectern, like a reading stand where we read our books or read or something. And then just, of course, more shelves to store stuff on and fill in the space. And go up one more floor. This is our bedroom. Again, just a really long hallway. I had to fill in the space. So we have another pretty simple little design here. I ran out of books. I'm going to have to go grab a couple more. But just wanted to fill the space up with bookshelves because I love the coloring. And little little tables with stuff on them where I can. We got a closet right there. We got our bed. Looks like it's daytime. Wow, I talked through the whole night there, huh? And then just filling in the space where I can. Again, like this is how I do interiors, and I'm still learning. So if it feels cluttered, it's probably because it is. I try to make everything feel like it has a purpose and it's there for a reason. I wanted the inside to feel more alive than the outside, because the outside has that like old and worn down effect, but the inside, it looks like somebody lived here. And then if we keep going up the windmill, this is just a spiral staircase all the way to the top. Didn't really know how to fill in the space here, so I thought spiral staircase and storage. I don't plan on living here a whole lot, but I think, if we ever end up moving over here, this would be a really good house to actually live in for a while, because we have storage, we have crafting tables, we have our inner chests, we have a bed, we have pretty much everything we need if we wanted to actually live in this house. But yeah, that's the whole house. We've explored all of it except the outside. Let's go to the one last thing. And there's creepers around. I've actually already exploded once or twice, so I'm gonna take a look around, make sure nothing gets blown up. I didn't really know what to put in here. It's kind of like a storage area. I wanted to break up the flatness of this wall, so I added this, and then didn't really know what to do here, so I just put another little storage house. And this is, again, just a storage house. Nothing crazy in here. I held all my tools in here, some barrels, got another pot. I got our crafting or tool station. And yeah, nothing too crazy. Try to keep it pretty simple. This is a pretty steep cliff. I thought it would make sense to have some type of, fence. And it's not a pretty uniform fence. It's pretty crazy looking, but I think it works. I definitely think it looks pretty good. But there's a whole lot of detail I've been trying to put into this place, as much as I can, to just make it feel like a home rather than just plop down, because that seems to be kind of the theme I struggle with around this world. I really tend to just plop a building down and move on, because I don't really think too far ahead of, what is this area actually going to look like? I definitely am doing that with this build. We still have a couple more things we're going to build, but yeah, I'm really trying my best to make sure that everything here looks like it's meant to be here. And I think I'm doing a pretty good job so far. But the next couple things we're going to do is work on the paths, and then we're going to add a couple of storage silos on the back here. And then we're going to fill in a lot of the wheat, because we're going to make this a huge wheat field, a wheat farm. And that's going to take a while, but it's still going to look pretty cool. I'm starting to notice a pattern with where I decide to put all my trees. We got the weird cherry blossom tree growing out of the ground around my portal. We have this big tree growing out of my silo. I mean, I might just be a crazy guy that likes to make trees as complicated as possible, but I think I'm a genius. I think that this is so cool. I wanted to fill in the space behind the house, and on a live stream I was working on building my silos for the area, and I thought it'd be really cool to build a tree coming out of this thing. And this is what we got. I really like it. It's a pretty basic oak tree, I would say. You know what? We're going to cheetah cam so I can show you all the angles without making you sick. So from this angle, this is kind of the way I built it. It's actually probably a little easier if I turn down my render distance to get that's not where render distance is. There we go. Now you can see everything without the background blending in. So I kind of built it so that the branches would be growing out of this, out of the silo in kind of a leaning fashion, so that I could get some branches breaking through the sides of the walls, coming out in different directions, some roots coming out. I really like to do all of my trees with like a little with little bushes. Well, at least now I do. Now that I've learned kind of this technique that I like, this is what I usually go with. I make all the branches and then I plop down leaves on the ends of them, which you can probably see kind of in this general area where you have this branch coming out and then I have this really wonky looking leaf bushel thing. I don't think I've really figured out what to call these yet. I've been calling them bushels since the cherry blossom tree, so I'm just going to stick with that. And I think that really helps me get the canopy look that the trees do have, but it also just breaks apart the tree so it's not just one big lump. And so if we look up here, I tried my best to fit in little small details with the branches where there's like small branches coming out and shooting down, small branches. You can't really see it. A lot of the detail, you can't really see. Oh, geez, I'm falling. You can't really see a lot of the detail from certain angles, but like you probably saw when we were flying over there, there's a lot of detail I put in for the branches themselves. Like this is a really good example. I just try to make it look like the tree's been here a while. I have that same idea going here where on the side of the silo, I have branches breaking out of the inside here, just like this. And at some point there were leaves on here, but the tree's grown so big that this branch has kind of died since then, so it's pretty blank and empty. Then we have a crazy looking root system right here that's just breaking through the side. The roof's falling apart. It's falling onto the ground here, and on the inside there's also pieces here and there that are from the roof falling down. Yeah, and you still get the effect of the leaves falling down if you're close enough. So that's a big bonus. I love that effect. If you remember the EchoCraft house, I really try to get my leaves in this right area so that they fall down. And then this silo over here, nothing special. It does have another entrance on this side with nothing in it. I think this would be a pretty cool spot for some type of farm. I really need a moss farm, like / bone meal farm, or an iron farm. We have the Iron Maiden, but it's honestly not the most efficient. How are you growing? No. Ah, you sneaky. I think it'd be a cool spot for some type of farm. We have two entrances. We have the one on the bottom. I'm not doing so good. We have the entrance on the side there. And then we have the entrance up top. And I think this would be a pretty cool spot for where I interact with the farm and then things fall to the bottom and I collect the items. I don't know. I might have to talk to my friend Ike. He's a genius when it comes to redstone, and I might have to pick his brain to see what I could fit in this small space. So apart from the silos that we built here, I do have some paths kind of laid out. I have a general idea of how I want the flow of this area to go. I don't have a whole lot of other houses to build quite yet. I built this house months ago, and because I just had a kid, my free time is limited to about 2 to 3 hours a day, if that. Sometimes it's 2 to 3 hours a week. I'm just trying to fit in what I can for the time being, but the pathways are going to come from the side house, go to the silos, and I think I'm not going to do anything with this yet. Might do another pathway over here, but I don't think I have any general idea of what to put over here because it's kind of hidden in the back. I think I'm going to have this one cut towards the water over there, and that's where we'll put another house and probably some like boat docking station. And then this one will probably continue to stay up on this hill where I'll probably put a couple more houses or maybe even a horse stable because we have horse galore over here. I'm pretty happy with these silos. I really try to keep the theme of everything is very old going. So these silos, they've had their life. They started pretty clean, and then over time with all the elements, they're just slowly starting to crumble down, and I think it fits this area really well. I'm pretty happy with how these have turned out so far. It's still kind of a death trap. Don't think everything's lit up, so nighttime around here is not very safe. But we have a little bit of daylight time left, so I'm going to explain kind of what we're doing next. And I would like to, maybe clean out my inventory, but I would like to start putting in all of the wheat. So we have a shulker box here with wheat seeds. So the majority of this area is going to be a wheat field, but I'm going to try to do something a little different. We don't have a whole lot of daytime left, so I'll try to explain while I can. I do need a couple more blocks. Excuse me, I'm trying to show something off. So the new update introduced all of these new plants right here. So we got the tall grass, tall dry grass, and short dry grass. And I'm in love with these blocks. I want to try to use these in the wheat field because I think it's a really cool block to compare with. Let's see, we have a little bit of wheat here. We can do wheat right next to it, and it looks really good in comparison to the two. So let's get all these grown. So these two blocks together look so good for farmland, and I'm going to try my best to incorporate both of these in this entire area as best as I can, while it still like makes sense because you can see that the block underneath is untilled, and I might turn that into dirt. I just have to include moss and stuff all the way around it. If you place the seeds quick enough, you don't need water to have these stay here. I mean, it's going away pretty quickly, but if you place all this down, you don't need water for everything to grow. Oh, I just broke it. It's going to take quite a while to let this all grow. I'm just going to keep tilling all this up, and then I'll show you more or less what the idea is for this area. Now, before we look too closely at all the stuff we just did, I did want to show something off really quickly. So a couple weeks ago, like I said, I did that live stream where we were working on the silos in the tree here. And a couple days after that live stream ended, my friend Hoshi posted this picture on Twitter. She did this art piece on the farmhouse and the field, and it looks so good. I've been looking at it like every day since she posted it, and I wanted to share it here because it's so cool, and I wanted to shout her out because she did such a great job. I definitely recommend going to check out her page on her Twitter account. She has some awesome artwork to go look at. She even has a sketch of the observatory, which is just insane. Pretty much everything looks like it's almost fully grown, and it's getting to be nighttime, so we can actually take a look at some of the features I added in around here. So here and there, I have some of the firefly bushes added in, and around nighttime or when it rains, we get the firefly effect, and it's so cool. I love it so much. I don't know why the sounds aren't playing. That's a little strange. Normally you hear like the little firefly. Oh, there it is. Spoke too soon. You know, I don't really come out here very often in the dark because it's kind of a death trap, but it looks pretty good. I love the little like spots where it's all lit up and stuff. Oh, it looks really cool. I'm really happy with it. Now, before I let too many mobs spawn, we're going to go sleep and then we'll come out and check everything out. So the wheat field is pretty much done. At least this is the general idea we're going to go for this area. Obviously not filled in completely. That's mainly because I don't exactly know where my next houses are going to be, where my next trees are going to be, and I feel like if I fill it in too much, it'll just kind of be a waste. So for now, this is pretty much all we have, and I figured we can do a quick walkthrough of it. It's pretty hectic, I would say. So if we take a closer look, we have these little patches here of grass, and I wanted to add things like this because if you ever go look at a wheat field, every so often you'll see grass coming through the wheat. They'll just be like really long pieces of grass because it grows faster than wheat does. And so I wanted to show that off in this way. So over here as well, we have that happening, and I have the lily pads, which I think are such a cool shape that I really wanted to add those in there, even though it doesn't really make a whole lot of sense for lily pads to be over here. Maybe it's just like a really wet area, and that's why it's growing. And then as you probably can see, we have the candles here and there, and my idea with that is that some of the wheat stalks are growing a little taller than everything else because, again, like this isn't a super well-kept area. Here and there, like this is actually a pretty good angle. It just looks like there's an extra bit of texture to the wheat fields, so it's not just this uniform level look to it, which I really think works well in this area. And then, of course, we also have the dry grass areas where I think it just makes sense to have, every now and then little patches of it where maybe the wheat's pretty dried out or it's just really old, so it's decaying a little bit. But I think it works really well. This area is pretty much done, I would say, for the most part. We have like this field here and then going around the silo. Don't have anything over here because I'm not really sure exactly what to do with this area down here yet. This might go away. This might come all the way over. Not really sure, so I left it there for now. And then we also have this side over here that I forgot about. This side is where the hillside is. So this is a little more steep, and because of that, I added some boulders in, and yeah, this side is not fully grown in yet. But you can see that we have bamboo trapdoors here, and that is to hide the fact that some of these blocks are too tall. Right here, you'll see that there's a ledge here. This is where this ledge comes over. Actually, this is a good view. This ledge comes out, and the wheat below it just isn't tall enough to completely cover that, so it would look a little weird if there we have this massive field of yellow, and there's just a blank spot, you know? So I filled it in with the trapdoors just to kind of hide it a little bit. I think this side actually might have a good example of what it looks like without it. Yeah, actually, that's a perfect example. Right there. So it just looks a little strange, and so that's why I put trapdoors in there. Yeah, we got a couple boulders here and there, and I think because this is a hill, I thought it made sense to add some of those in and just also break up some of the big old yellow coloring. And then over here, I was thinking of adding a pond and having like a cool pathway that goes through this, but I'm not sold on that yet. This would be a cool area for like another mini house or something too, so trying to think of what to add over here. So if you guys have any ideas, let me know. We do have a couple of fences around that I use to shape the pathways and to shape the field itself. So if we look at this area, this one's like super smooth and round. This one is smooth and round that way. Same with this one. And we got one back there holding up that wall that I didn't really know what to do with. And then of course right here as well that we kind of already saw, just holding up this wall. And I really like the addition of that. I think it looks pretty cool. I try to keep it like a nice smooth transition so it's pleasing to the eye and not just this like awkward fence area that just is standing out here. But man, I really love this. I think it looks so cool. And like this angle right here is so good. This is probably the most complete build I have in my world now. It used to be that little hut that we came from earlier in the episode. But this is, I'm really happy with this. I'm pretty proud of it. I think it looks really good. And I need to bring some wax over because I keep forgetting to wax these doors, and so they keep turning blue. They're not supposed to be blue. They're supposed to be like that. Supposed to be that like one shade below this one. I keep thinking that it's a zombie when I see the bright blue, so we're gonna turn it back for now. Before I forget, there's one last thing I want to do, and it's just the final touches, the last detail that I think is really gonna tie this whole area together, and it's just gonna top it off. It's gonna be so cool. Now this looks pretty crazy right now, but this is gonna be super cool when we get down there. Once I clean this whole thing up. This is probably the most detailed thing that we've done so far today. Are you ready? We got some birds. We got a flock of birds flying away from the tree. Doesn't that look so cool? Oh, I love it so much. It's such a small little detail, but it brings some life into the area. I try to make it so that, you know, like they're all kind of in a bunch, and then you have a couple of stragglers floating back up to catch back up with them. And a really cool thing is when you get up close, you know, normally when you get up close to things, it starts to look worse, especially if you're using candles. But look at that. It looks like birds. It looks, you got the wings, you got the feather, or of course you have feathers. You got the tail. It literally looks like birds. This is just 3 candles stacked around each other like this. It looks so cool. It looks really cool from like all angles too. I love it. It looks exactly like a bird. Oh, it looks so good. Now, real quick, we're going to fly all the way over here and take a look at the view from the observatory area. And all the way down. Oh, it looks so good. Of course, I didn't finish this side because, like I said, I'm not really sure what to do with it. Oh, the birds look so good from here. The house looks good. Holy cow, that guy's fast. Oh my gosh. Get away from me. Yeah, this is so cool. Once this area is done, oh, it's going to look so good. I'm so happy with it. We're going to do one final flyby with shaders on, of course, and then that'll probably be it for today. It looks pretty good without the shaders, but man, does this just add a whole nother layer of depth, especially with the sun going down over there. Oh, but I love this so much. I think it looks so good. And I love that it's just right below the observatory. Like, this is such a crazy shot right here. Oh, it's so cool looking. You know, I joke a lot about, you know, all my builds being my favorite build, but this one I think I'm the most proud of. I know it's really simple, and there's really not, like, we have this right next to it to compare to, but I don't know, there's something about this that I really, really like it. I'm really happy with it and everything. Like, there's so much life here. As you can see, my frame's dropping, but there's a story here. Like, this house belongs here. Like, all of this feels like it belongs. And now that we got the fireflies going, oh, and the sounds, this is good. This is good. I'm happy with everything here. Unfortunately, the shaders do take my frames down from about 300 to about 20, so we're going to turn them off for the final bit here. But I think that's going to be it for today. We had a lot of building today. This is probably the most building we've done in a long time, and I'm super happy with the outcome. Of course, I want to know what you guys think. Did I over detail? Did I under detail? Is it just right? Let me know. I love hearing your guys' thoughts on the stuff that we build here. And of course, I do want to say thank you again for all of your patience these last couple months. I know I was on a groove there for a little bit, uploading like once a month. And then of course I had my little one, and we are kind of getting in the groove a little bit and trying to figure things out. It still might be quite a bit of delay between episodes, but I really appreciate all of your patience and support, and just in general, just your positive attitude towards everything. And yeah, it's been super awesome. And of course, with all of that now being said, thank you guys so much for watching. I appreciate you all. I'll see you in the next one.